So, hey, full disclosure, I'm working with Doug Garrett on a Lone Wolf book, and this review is the reason why. So I got this package from Doug Garrett a while back, and I haven't opened it yet. I've only read the digital version of Lone Wolf, and I thought I would open it and go through it because it's a really, really good comic. I can't stress enough how good a comic it is. I can stress enough, to be quite honest, how good of a comic it is. See, Doug Garrett wrote one of the best indie comics I've read in the last couple years, and that book is called Lone Wolf. There we go. So, oh, whoa, okay, great, excellent, good job, Doug. I appreciate you begging and boarding this beautiful, beautiful comic. This was worth every penny. This is worth every penny. It was $5 for the glossy full color comic, and it was $3 for the black and white newsprint edition. And so $8 total, plus that wretched shipping and handling, you know. That's the scourge of our comic book times, shipping and handling. To get right into this, I'm going to tell you straight up, Doug Garrett is one of the best new writers in comic books. Not just indie comic books, in comic books. This comic is phenomenal. I want to show you the whole thing, but I can't show you the whole thing. Oh, interesting paper selection. Okay. And this, this has a different feel to it. I don't know. It's got like maybe it's waxed, maybe? It's interesting. And I don't want to go through this one, you know. I'll show you a couple more pages, but we're going to go through that. Because, you know, I got to show off the book. I know Doug's watching, no doubt. I got to show off the book a little bit, right? I won't show the whole thing because that's not appropriate. I'm not going to do a read-through, even though I could. And I know Doug Garrett. And so when I read this book, I imagine Lone Wolf's voice in Doug's voice. Because Doug is Lone Wolf. Doug is Lone Wolf. If Doug was a little thinner, he would be Lone Wolf without the hair. Jeff Lashley's art is very distinct in this comic. His monsters are great. I think he needs to practice drawing more humans. But I'm happy to have paid $5 for this because he drew a beautiful comic. His monsters are phenomenal. But of course, then you compare it to his humans, and this is very distinct too. This looks better printed than it does digitally. I'm going to say that right now. Wow. Very different experience. I had just read this digitally before we did this review, and this is a totally different feel for me. Interesting. Not interesting. This is why comic books should be printed. They're way better that way. They're way better that way. I get it. It's not on the budget anymore. Old printing. Poor Ben Franklin. What would he think? Anyway, sorry. Too many signs. I can't ignore this. See, I read it differently. Thank goodness I don't read it like Doug speaks. I would love to hear Doug read this, though. I wish there was an audio track. Oh, dying. Ghouls. That's how I imagine it. But when I first saw the character, I want to read it like he had a wife and 2 children. They both died on the trail of tears. Too many signs. I can't ignore this. Dead cattle, dug up graves, remains scattered throughout the area. Nice car. Who else will be out here this time of night? Could be grave robbers, looking for something to sell. No, all these signs couldn't be connected. They must have heard me pull up. They must have cut off their light. If I'm quick, they'll never know what hit them. Don't make a move. I've got you. Oh, dang. Ghouls. I hate ghouls. This ain't gonna be pretty. Blam! Shoots that ghoul right in the face. And these are all, I see you comic skaters out there. I know who you are. James Darby. Macho Dan. Timothy. I know what you're doing here. Peter Toman. Scurvy got him. I can handle these guys. Just keep moving. I've got 6 shots. I better make them count. This car goes roaring by in the middle of the night. I need to follow that Cadillac, Trevor D. Lopez. There are only a few roads out this way. That caddy can't be too far ahead. He follows the caddy, bingo. Comes up to this old automotive center, maybe? I don't know. They got the bay door. Pick the lock or kick it down. Oh, something real going on in there. Maybe it's open. Well, what do we got here? Some Indian wanting to play cowboy. You got no business here. There ain't many people able to sneak up on me. I'm not like other people. I'm going to turn around. No, it can't be him. How? I thought this guy was a zombie. I want to take a break here. I thought this guy was a zombie, and I don't think this guy is a zombie anymore. It's just in this picture. He looks like he's a ghoul or a zombie. And then all of a sudden, the palette of this comic book changes completely. And this is excellent. This is excellent visual storytelling. This is what got me, was this transition here. And this is what tells you Doug's a good writer. He doesn't need to write before or anything like that. You instantly know this has changed because the color palette is completely changed. And that's, if Doug wrote that, that's great writing. If the colorist did that, that's a great colorist. And, man, the whole tone has just changed. It's amazing. My mother was the most beautiful woman in the world. She was called Saisuna Siska, Wild Rose. She was wild, fierce, and strong. No one could handle her. Then she met him, Big Jake. He had been sent to make peace with my grandfather, the chief, the only bear. It was love at first sight. And then the story continues with some more stuff going on that's pretty exciting. And Lone Wolf is just getting started. That's what I can say. For me, this book was so good. The two best books I have read so far out of Comicsgate that I have read that I feel were the best were Lone Wolf and John De La Rosa's Flying Sparks Volume 1. So far, out of the stuff that shipped. I'm still waiting on some things. I'm still waiting on Something Real. I'm excited to read Something Real 1, 2, and 3. I just backed that maybe 2 weeks ago. And I'm really waiting on Little Girl Lethal because I've seen a lot of what Slick Jimmy's done with Little Girl Lethal before any of the lettering's put in. Because, you got to be able to show it to a couple people to make sure that, this is flowing, this is looking great. Everyone, with some sense in their head thinks this is looking good, but the story isn't in there. And so, you can only play the guessing game by, looking at the pictures and seeing I can't wait to hear Slick Jimmy's voice with Little Girl Lethal. And I couldn't wait to hear Doug Garrett's voice after reading Lone Wolf issue 1. And I know Jeff is doing another project before he can get back to Lone Wolf. So it's going to be a minute before we get issue 2, but I know that Doug has Legends of the Lone Wolf, which is an anthology book on the way. And I liked this comic so much when I got the digital version that I actually offered to write a Lone Wolf story for very little money because I liked the character so much, and Doug was such a good writer himself that I don't know, and he's such a cool guy. He's just a normal dude, which is great in the independent comics world, with and without Comicsgate. It's really nice to meet people who are just like normal and enjoying their lives and aren't playing political games and doing all this nonsense, clickbait, all this crap. Like, you look at my channel and you see, over 150 videos that are comic book reviews, that are fun and entertaining. We try to do streams that make people laugh and have a good time. And all the guys you see on this channel are really cool. And that's why I like to have Doug on my channel. And that's why I wanted to write Lone Wolf. So Doug had mentioned to me that he was going to do this anthology book called Legends of the Lone Wolf. And I had read this and I was like, well, I would love to write Lone Wolf, because as a writer with a fair deal of experience and practice, when somebody else has already created this whole world and can just, show you an issue of the comic that explains to you the character to some extent, and then gives you a couple pages that tell you, the world and where it's going and the abilities of the character and some of the other main characters and their abilities, it's really easy to come in and write a story for that character if you enjoyed it and something in it resonated with you. So I wrote this 38-page story that takes place in the Pacific Northwest. It's based around a true story from the great state of Washington. And I inserted Lone Wolf in there and created then, a fictional story built on top of some real history. And I got a very talented Malay artist named Mior, who is drawing an absolutely stunning supernatural Western story in a Southeast Asian manga-inspired style. That's the best way to describe Mior. You can look at some of his early work. He does a comic called The Broken and the Damned, which is on tapas.io. That's tapas.io. Tapas. And I had this story from my life as a Northwesterner growing up, hearing these stories, really. And I carried them with me for, years, since I was like 18 years old. And I knew there was a story there, but I'd always come up with stories that, were maybe a little more accessible to an audience. And I didn't know if that one wasn't yet. It took Lone Wolf to make that story I'd carried for over a decade finally spring to life. And so I just pounded through the script, and Mior started drawing it. So you will get a feature-length story that is, tells you everything you need to know about Lone Wolf. A true story from the Northwest with a huge supernatural vibe. If you like spooky stories, and I would say it's PG-13. We don't have much there's no real language in there. There's some violence, there's monsters, and they're based in real life. That's what's really interesting, I think, about it, is taking Northwest Native American culture and allowing Lone Wolf to come be part of that. But also what makes it fun is putting Lone Wolf in the turn of the age of modern man, in the modern century. Electricity is just becoming a thing you can harness and use to light up a bulb. And it's also a coming-of-age story for a boy having an experience that, helps set him on his path to manhood. And those are all the things that myself and Mior are trying to capture in Legends of the Lone Wolf. It would be amazing if there were fans as rabid as the fans of Comicsgate, who would focus on some of these smaller creators more and get behind one of their books, get behind a few of their books, and get creators. I mean, like the writers, like guys like Doug, who can write, this guy can write 4 comic books a month probably. It's just a matter of being able to make him survive and the artists who draw those 4 books survive. Because an artist can only hang on 1 book a month, and that's a full-time job. I think people don't realize, it's a full-time job. Man. But Doug did his job, and he did his job right on Lone Wolf. And that's why you need to go pick it up if you haven't yet. And if you have read it, give Doug some feedback on it. But I'll tell you what, it was worth it. It was worth $8. I got them both, baby. They're gorgeous. Oh, I want to show some more of the back, but I don't want to, I don't want to go past the sale, right? You want this book. You want this book. Like, you want this book. This is a book that is really, really good. Well drawn. Very, very well colored. Very unique, very distinct. And extremely well written. Man. I'm on the Doug Garrett train. I want to see more of what Doug has got in the future. So pick up Lone Wolf with Legends of the Lone Wolf. And I'll come back tomorrow with another review that is not of an indie comic. Right here, Crypto Comics.
Legends of the Lone Wolf. 80-page full-color anthology. With your support, we will bring you a perfect bound 80-page book of the highest quality. Everyone involved has donated their time and talent, and all the money will go to printing and shipping before any of the creators turn a profit. Unlike other anthology books, Legends of the Lone Wolf contains a 38-page feature-length supernatural story. That's nearly twice the size of a regular comic book. This campaign is the only way to get the variant aged edition of Lone Wolf's #1. This highly unique version of our first issue will be printed on a stunning aged newsprint and features a cover by the one and the only Muttman. So don't sit on your hands, Wolfomaniacs. You're going to have to get out there and grab a copy for yourself. Ooh, yeah! Dig it!